Oh, good morning, Yankees universe. Welcome back to another episode of the Yankees Morning Brew. I am your guy Hector. Like always, I am joined by my guy, Mr. TC Stills. Watch the intro, and we can talk about Mr. Perfect himself. We'll be right back.
Really, y'all don't know this, y'all in danger. I'm a threat. I'm a gamble with your life, cause you know that it's okay. It's okay. You know I ain't letting up, my foot is on your neck. Take my word for it, it's a promise and a threat. Really, y'all don't know this, y'all in danger. I'm a threat. I'm a gamble with your life, cause you know that it's a bet. It's a bet. You know I ain't letting up, my foot is on your neck. Take my word for it, it's a promise and a threat.
What's up, YouTube? This is your guy Hector. Like I said, host of the Yankees Morning Brew. Like always, I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. TC Stills. All you Yankee fans out there, wake up and get your coffee. The Yankees were able to win last night, beat up on the Oakland Athletics, but that's not the story. The story is Mr. Perfect himself, Domingo Herman, aka the German Sunday, was able to pitch a perfect game for the New York Yankees, the fourth perfect game when it comes to this franchise and its history. And on top of that, he is the first Dominican-born player to pitch a perfect game in the major leagues. Not Pedro Martinez, not Ron Marnacchio, whatever his last name is for the Red Sox. It was Domingo Herman. TC Stills, what's your thoughts?
Wow, what a game, man.
Marichal, there you go. Marichal, that's the name.
Juan
Sorry, I had
Marichal,
I had a spaz moment. Sorry.
Yeah, wow, that was unbelievable. I couldn't believe it from all the bad starts that Domingo had, and he was fantastic. I think he had 2 3-ball counts all night,
Yeah,
and it was just marvelous, simply
master
marvelous.
performance.
Yeah,
Master performance for
masterpiece.
Domingo Herman.
Yeah,
We've
much
seen
needed, much
when
needed
very
positivity for this team.
much needed, right? And I understand it was a perfect game, but one of the more important things, you gave the bullpen a night off, which this bullpen desperately need. We
Yeah,
desperately needed to have a night off, and that's what Domingo Herman gave our team last night. On top of that, Domingo Herman, he's been struggling. We saw his ERA go from 3.59 to over 5 before
yeah,
yesterday's start. And we needed that from Domingo Herman, right? There's been times that when Domingo Herman, his stuff is on, he looks hitless. You can't get a hit off of Domingo Herman when he has his A stuff. Yesterday, that curveball was amazing. He had great command of his fastball, great command of his
mhm.
changeup. Overall, phenomenal performance by
Curveball was
Domingo Herman
filthy,
for
filthy
not
curveball.
filthy, disgusting. And I see we got a few people in the building. So let's start with the
Get
roll
that
call
roll
before we
call.
continue. And also, we got a special guest backstage who's going to join in on the conversation. But let's start off with the roll call real quick. We got our friend Jonathan in the building. Jonathan, how you doing? I saw Jonathan earlier. He was with Uncle Tats of the Pinstripe Chronicle. Jerry Cadill, how you doing? Big time Jerry.
He stayed up.
Avicii is in the building. Jerry, I hope you got some good rest because staying up to 1 in the morning is not always healthy, right? Gideon G Money is in the building. G Money, how you doing? Jiggerman Portal, my brother, my
Hey,
guy
how you
Pots and
doing? How you
Pans. Sean
doing?
Browning is in the building. Lorenzo Cardona, Ayo Enzo, how you doing? Anthony
Oh,
Garcia
there
is
you go. How
in
you doing?
the building. My
How you
guy
doing?
Vikings is in the building. MHVACR, how you doing? He got the Jets because we go into the jet life. I feel you,
Hmm.
baby. Big Blue Gold is in the building. This my guy, Baby Blue, right here. James Cook is in the building. Again, appreciate all of you guys for showing up and joining
Yeah.
us with this conversation. Appreciate everybody in the chat. If you guys can, smack that like button and also hit the subscribe button as well. We are sitting on 788
Wow.
subscribers. We are right around the corner when it comes to 800 subs. We
Getting there.
appreciate all the support we have been getting from everybody when it comes to watching the shows, tuning in, liking the videos. We appreciate all of you guys. And without further ado, we got to bring up our guy, He's a friend of yours. He's a friend of mine. He's a friend of the chats. The one and only Uncle Tats from Pinstripe Chronicles. Uncle Tats, how you doing?
How could you not be doing good this morning?
I know.
That's so. It's just been one of those mornings. It was a late night for a lot of us last night, and we're just riding the high.
You got to be riding the high right now, Tats. And I'm gonna ask you, and I'll throw it over to TC before we bring up any of the topics that we have. When it comes to Domingo Germán, right? Yes, he pitched a perfect game, which was phenomenal. How important to you was it that the bullpen had a night off? Because we have been overusing and abusing this bullpen. Him pitching a perfect game, that's amazing. I ain't gonna forget that, right? I was able to watch a perfect game being thrown as a Yankee fan. I'm not gonna forget that. But the importance of resting that bullpen. Speak on that, Uncle Tats, and then throw it over to TC.
Yeah, that's a great point. I don't think a lot of people actually took into consideration. I think that might be just as important as the game itself, was giving those guys a night to kind of catch their breath. So props to you for even thinking about how the bullpen got their rest. We all know they have desperately needed a break.
Oh yeah, definitely. Go ahead, TC.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big lift to that bullpen. I mean, they always need it, and we don't see complete games hardly ever, even in the major leagues. And to go 9 innings, I mean, let alone a perfect game no hitter. I mean, that's just icing on the cake. But yeah, he saved our bullpen a lot. I mean, we're playing the A's. We shouldn't have to worry about overusing the bullpen. So hey, and we got Ian Hamilton back. So hey, a lot of positivity coming out of that game yesterday. I mean, that was phenomenal.
And he did it while throwing under 100 pitches. He didn't even crack 100 pitches. He was at 99 on the dot. Shout out my man El Manuel Morales in the building. Manny said, I called it. Damn it, I called it. Manny, my guy.
Called the perfect game.
Brother, appreciate you, my guy. Hold on 1 second. We got Jason from 161 River Ave in the building. Jason, how you doing? Our guy JC is in the building. NFE is in the building. Salute. 3 capital S's. Don Sicario de la Isla is in the building. El Don Sicario, my guy, how you doing? But yeah, yesterday's game from Domingo Germán, we needed that, right? And I've seen a lot of chatter online on Twitter, and I'm gonna bring up the first graphic since we're talking about Germán, that this should be the turning moment when it comes to our Yankee season. But I want to tell you, Yankee fans out there, right? I understand that the team may be underperforming to a lot of our expectations, but let's take a step back and let's actually analyze the situation, right? Last year, the New York Yankees, we were best record in baseball at this time, leading our division, running away with our division, I should say. But we had a big target on our back, and everybody was chasing the New York Yankees. And with injuries and Aaron Judge trying to chase history, I think all of that just exhausted the team. So by the time the playoffs came, the team wasn't ready. Now, this year, we're in the wild card. We're chasing Baltimore. We're chasing Tampa Bay in our division. Right? You look at the wild card standing, we have the 4th best record in the American League. So we're in the 2nd wild card spot right now. But when you look at it, there's not that much pressure this season like it was last year, because everybody was expecting the Yankees to make that big move at the trade deadline. Everybody was waiting to see what the Yankees were going to do, and everybody was chasing the Yankees. This year, it's the other way around. The Yankees are chasing other teams, and we're waiting to see what other teams do before we decide to make a move. Uncle Tats, I want to throw it over to you first, and TC, what's your thoughts on what I just said or brought up?
I think that's a good way to look at it. We had the hot start last year, and we thought we were just going to ride that wave to the end. We had one of the worst Augusts I think this team has ever seen, and it started to put a lot of doubt in people's head. And when you underestimate a ball club with the financial backing like the Yankees, the prospects to back up any move, I think that the second half of the Yankees is going to be where everybody's like, where the hell these guys come from?
Yeah, definitely. TC, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I mean, This is definitely going to make the front office, have to decide. I think before this game, the series, everybody was, even yesterday, the day before when they lost 1-0, everybody was down on this team like, oh, they can't beat Oakland. Might as well just sell and call it a year. Judge is going to be out for the season. Doomsday. Domingo throws a perfect game, and all of a sudden, we're gonna go out and get all these players. We're gonna make a run, and this could be the turnaround. But yeah, I like what you said. The pressure is not on our team as much as last year, and I love being under the radar. I love being the
Mm-hmm.
underdogs, and people are sleeping on us. Our offense is gonna wake up. It has to wake up, and they better look out toward the end of the season. If we catch hot, we got Rodon coming back. Judge will be back, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
August, September, but he will be back. So this team is going to make a push. We don't just tank gears and give up. So
Yeah.
we're going to be in it.
Yeah, and when it comes to Domingo Herman, after the game, he had the conversation with Meredith Morakovich, and
Mm,
the translator was there. And I just want to say, it got lost in translation. The person that he was talking about, it wasn't his biological uncle, but it's kind of like how Tats is my uncle. Right, the
mm.
same way how I call Tats my uncle is the same way Domingo Herman had that relationship with that gentleman that he was
Compa,
talking about.
like your compa.
And yeah, it's one of those that you're not blood, but you're still family, right?
Mm,
We in the Caribbean, especially being Puerto Rican, Dominican, Cubano, however, you always have people that they aren't technically blood, but they're still considered family, and that's what Domingo Herman and his family has been dealing with, because this is somebody that Domingo Herman has known since he was a child. This is a guy that he was talking about that taught him the game of baseball, that taught him how to pitch, and I think that the translator not mentioning that was a disservice to
mm.
that gentleman and his life and the impact he had on Domingo Herman. But anybody that has to deal with a family member passing away, whether that be a father, an uncle, somebody close to you, a mentor, however it is, it hits you tough, right? And I'm not
Yeah.
sure if you can connect Domingo Herman last two starts, how bad they've been, to this guy in the hospital trying to battle with what he was battling, right?
Mm,
I'm not sure if his focus was 100% in over his last two starts. I'm not trying to find excuses, but I'm just
yeah.
trying to connect the correlations or connect the dots, right? So if this guy who was his uncle was in the hospital for the past 2 weeks trying to fight for his life, you can understand why the Domingo Herman had two bad starts back to back over the past 2 weeks, right? We get that. Not trying to find excuses, but like I said, I'm just trying to connect the dots. And
Mm,
shout out to Domingo Herman and his family and
yeah.
that gentleman's family as well, because that goes to show you that community, it's a big thing, especially for young kids growing up. That's why this community that we have, I enjoy the fact that Tats and the Pinstripe Chronicles, I can consider them family. Same thing with Pete Seminetti and NYY News TV, right? Same
Mm,
way, just like with other Yankee content creators, Ruben in the chat, Don Sicario in the chat, like so many different guys that I could consider us being like a close-knit family. And I'm glad that Domingo Herman was able to have that moment last night, because he definitely deserved that. And hopefully this is a tipping point for the Yankees season, that we can start going the right way that we need to go.
mhm.
And on top of
Yeah.
that, the last time Yankees threw perfect games, we won the World Series those years.
Mhm.
TC, I'll throw it over to you. What's your thoughts?
Yeah. David Wells in '98. David Cohn in '99. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hey, it's a sign. I like thinking about things like that. The things happen for a reason, and
Mm-hmm.
hey, um, this is definitely the spark we needed. We were so down on this team with the offense. The pitching has been spectacular. I mean, it's been saving
Mm-hmm.
us, and they're that perfect game just proved it. But hey, the team it looked like they were having fun finally. I mean, this team hasn't looked like that for a long time. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they executed some bunts, some hit and runs, they were doing some actual baseball and,
Mm-hmm.
and and enjoying it. And I hope this does, spark the team and puts them in the right direction. Front office makes some good, smart decisions. and we're on our way. Could be. I hope so.
Mm-hmm. Tats, what's your thoughts?
No, I have to agree with TC. If this is not that, if last night was not the spark that really got this team on a run, then I don't know what will get this team really going. Especially after you saw the first game of the series where they lose, only scoring one run.
It was bad.
And it just looked it was as bad as frustrating as possible when you're facing a bottom feeder and you can't even put up a crooked number, and then you get last night and you get that moment that what, this team's going to be okay. We can make headway. I really I don't think that the season's at a loss. I'm not going to say that anything is a guarantee now because they have this new life to them. But it's let's enjoy this part of the wave. We've been frustrated with the downfall. Let's enjoy the rise for a little while.
Yeah, 100% agree with that, Uncle Tax. Also, guys, we got 36 people in the building. If you guys can't smack that like button for your boys as we continue the conversation. We're going to talk about Domingo Germán, Anthony Volpe, Giancarlo Stanton. On top of that, we got mock trades to talk about. So we got 5 Yankee mock trades that I want to present to you guys on the panel, TC, Uncle Tats, and to you guys in the chat. And let us know what's your thoughts on these mock trades. What prospects are you willing to give up? And if any of these trades catches your eyes, let us know, and let us know how much you want the Yankees to actually go after these players. But let's segue real quick, and let's bring up Anthony Volpe. Talked about him just a little bit, but Anthony Volpe, El Calzone 2.0, a.k.a. Chicken Palm, ever since that conversation Anthony Volpe done had with Austin Wells and that chicken parmesan dinner, Anthony Volpe has been 11 for 35, which is a batting average of .314. It's been 12 games since that interaction between him and Austin Wells and that adjustment. He has had a home run. He has had 4 doubles, 6 stolen bases, and he has an OPS of .929. I want to ask you fellas and you guys in the chat, is this finally the turnaround from Anthony Volpe that we have been waiting for? We saw it almost at the end of April, but it got snuffed out real quick. TC, your thoughts on that?
I sure hope so, because I mean I'm really rooting for this kid, and the last 2 nights five hits. So I sure hope so, because we need somebody, because we've been just asking for somebody to come through. Our big guys are just haven't been. Stanton maybe showing some life, but Volpe figuring it out. Just getting him on base. Look at what he did. I mean, he's stealing the bases and he's bunting and he's making things happen. And that's what we need. The kid needs this confidence, and I think these 5 hits in these last 2 games boosting his confidence, and he's on his way for a hot streak. I just don't want to see him, just have a good series and then go cold for the next, 10 or so games. So hopefully this is a step in the right direction. Just keep eating chicken parm,
Yeah, that's all you could do. Uncle Tats, I want to get your thoughts on that. But before I throw it to you, I want to shout out our guy D-Rad in the chat. D-Rad, what it do? Anthony Volpe, according to the Yankees Muse, like I said, over the past 15 games. And Ruben, thank you so much, because my stats didn't include last night. So including last night's game, Volpe is hitting .333 with a .422 on base percentage, a .538 slugging, and a .960 OPS. Thank you so much, my brother Ruben. Uncle Tats, what's your thoughts?
No, I think that he's a rookie. He's not going to put Hall of Fame numbers in his first year. The odds that that was going to happen were almost astronomical. That happens. It's very rare, right? Not everybody's going to come up like a Harper or a Soto. Let Volpe be Volpe.
Facts.
Yeah. And it's what the one at bat that really stood out, that to me, that everything is clicking and his confidence is just it's peaking right now, was that bunt. Being able to, although I don't think he was bunting on his own, but he had to put the bunt down.
Yes.
And he was able to place it where he had that, he had the defense confused of who was going to get the ball.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he was able to just read the ball went into the out, to the foul territory, which is the size of 3 parking lots, and he was able to get to to second base. So his head is it just that one bunt told me his head is in this game, and his fault. I think we're going to see the Volpe that we've been waiting for, and let's also not ignore the defense that he put together last night.
Oh yeah, because he was nasty when it comes to that glove and picking a lot. He had a few tough plays that you thought were going to go the other way, but got to give Anthony Volpe his credit. He's stuck through the hard times, and he's being rewarded right now with the work that he has put in. And according to Yankee Muse, over the last 7 games, Anthony Volpe is hitting .444 with a 1267 OPS over his last 7 games. So hopefully this is a sign that things are changing when it comes to Anthony Volpe. I just want to give a quick shout out real quick to the chat. Silk Buckets is in the building. My guy Silk, how you doing? Delano Still Jr., the only troll we acknowledge is DSJ. DSJ, how you doing, my guy? But no, when it comes down to Anthony Volpe also, I'm not sure, and hopefully somebody in the chat, Ruben, I know you're always on top of this, so correct me if I'm wrong, Ruben, but I also think this is Volpe's first back-to-back multi-hit games. I don't think he's had back-to-back multi-hit games this season. He's hardly had any multi-hit games this season, let alone back-to-back. So he had 3 base hits the night before. He had 2 hits last night. He could have had a 3rd hit if he just beat out that last at-bat. So Anthony Volpe, he's using all of his tools to his advantage. Like Uncle Tat said, laying down that bunt was perfect. Putting pressure on the defense. When's the last time the Yankees put pressure on the defense? Like, when's the last time we bunt a guy over? Yeah. We bunt the guy over from second to third. A wild throw happens and the guy runs. When's the last time we did that?
I didn't think they knew how to bunt.
I thought Dylan Lawson took that out of the whole conversation when it comes to being the hitting coach.
Anti-bunt. Yeah.
Oh man.
I also want to say props to Aaron Boone. I know he doesn't get a lot of credit because we are always on him, but for sticking with Volpe. I mean, they hasn't rested him or put anybody else in there, and they had faith and they stuck with the kid, and he's coming around. I mean, props to Boone for doing that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of fans out there that get upset with the whole Anthony Volpe situation because he's struggling and they want to see Peraza up here, but no, Volpe's doing his job. And Ruben, my guy Ruben, he said April 25th and April 26th was the last time Volpe had back-to-back multi-hit games versus Minnesota.
Ruben's all over it.
Versus Minnesota. We are in the month of June. That was in April. That was in the end of April.
Was that when they moved him to the 7th hole? I know they moved him around in the lineup from leadoff to.
I'm not sure about that. But Blue Go said analytics took bunting out of the picture. 100% agree, Blue Go. And that's the one thing when it comes to analytics that I understand the philosophy when it comes to you don't want to give free outs away, but at the same time you got to be able to move people over because if you don't move someone over, you're stuck. It's like when Volpe
part of the game.
Didn't he double to lead off an inning? He got to third, so we had a guy on third with nobody out, and we weren't able to even get him in. We weren't able to get Volpe in. Nobody out, runner on third. Thank God we was up 7-0 at the time.
Yeah, we have to improve on that. That's a definite. We gotta learn how to manufacture runs, especially in the postseason.
Yeah, the situation with the runners in scoring position has been non-existent and abysmal at the same time, which only the Yankees can make us use those 2 words in one sentence. When it's the kid's going to be fun. Everybody, when you see somebody start to struggle for the first time, the initial reaction is, all right, put them off to the side. Let's get somebody else in that can get us going. But like you said, shout out to Boone for writing it out and letting this. Isn't it amazing what happens when you let rookies kind of get through the headaches?
It's crazy when you allow grown adults to figure it out and they actually put it together. It's crazy, Uncle Tats. But I want to bring up the next guy to have the conversation because hopefully he can start figuring it out. And I'm talking about Big G. at Giancarlo Stanton, who had a home run yesterday, who had a 2-run single, and he had a walk. He had a good day playing right field as well. Giancarlo Stanton, and games started since 2022. As a DH, Giancarlo Stanton is batting 186. But as a guy who plays in the outfield, Giancarlo Stanton is batting 251. And this is since the start of 2022. So I'm going to ask you guys, do you guys want Giancarlo Stanton in the outfield? The numbers show that he's a better hitter when he's actually playing in the outfield instead of just DHing. TC, I'm going to throw it to you. I know Giancarlo's is shot when it comes to his body, but what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think his head is in the game more when he's in the outfield because, I mean, the stats speak for themselves. I don't want to see him there every day, but maybe 2 or 3 times a week. I mean, not 0 or 1 time. You know, maybe a couple more times a week. Let's get him out there. I mean, you can't treat him like he's just a porcelain doll. You know, just come on. He's got to go out there and contribute and look like a ball player, not just a guy that can just hit home runs and he can't run and can't field. I mean, he actually looked like a ball player yesterday. Coming through with the single, the home run was great. But just improving his at bats, and I think that does help him when he's in the field. He has to concentrate on being a full-time baseball player. That's what we need out of him. I mean, to contribute in all aspects of the game. But yeah, I'd like to see him out there more.
Uncle Tats, what's your thoughts on that?
I've been screaming on my show for 4 years. Play him in the outfield as often as possible. Yeah. You cannot have a guy that muscular just sitting on the bench,
right?
And expect him to have phenomenal at bats every time. The more he plays the outfield, the healthier he stays. Because you're keeping those muscles loose, and we saw the result last night. He sucked. Let's be honest. Up until last night, he was on projection to be worse than Donaldson at the plate. It's amazing when you put him in the field, your bat automatically came with it. So that's why when a lot of people you can't play him in the outfield, and I said the organization, kind of. They brainwashed a lot of fans into the sport where he's not an outfielder. But he came to the National League where there was no DH, and he was still putting up those numbers.
Right.
So why all of a sudden as a Yankee, no, we can't put him in the outfield because we have to protect him? For what? I think the Yankees ruined his projection as, we never got to see how dominant he would be able to be. So with Judge out, here's their chance to kind of right their wrong and keep staying. And that's not an easy outfield to play either.
No.
So
out there.
Nothing got over his head. He made every out, obviously. We see the box score. Keep him loose. Keep him out. Put him out there again tonight. See what happens.
Yeah. And like Damian says, when it comes to Big G, the only times he actually has gotten hurt has been running the bases. It's not even been playing the outfield. It hasn't even been playing the outfield. When it comes to Big G, also over his last, I want to say 66 to 67 games. I saw this last night on Twitter, dating back to the All-Star break from last year. Because you remember last year, before the All-Star break, he was having a solid season.
Yeah,
he was hitting really good. Since the All-Star break from last year, over his last 67 games, including this season and being injured, Giancarlo Stanton, he's only batting 166 since then. Since the All-Star break from last year. Yes, he had a sluggish start to this year. He was injured. He was on the IL. But since the All-Star break from last year, including the postseason, he's only batting 166. So hopefully this is the turning point for Giancarlo Stanton, because the numbers aren't backing him turning it around. But hopefully he does, because we definitely need Giancarlo Stanton to step up while the big man is out. If there's anyone in this lineup that we need to step up, with Aaron Judge being out, it's definitely Big G, Giancarlo Stanton. And I want to give a quick shout out to my guy, Jay Boogie, the voice of the Knicks community. What it do? Last night was a blessing. was the beginning of the season turning around. Let's go, Yanks. That's like shout out to the chat. Blessings, health, happiness. Salute, salute, salute. 3 capital S's. J Boogie, my guy. I appreciate you. Thanks for tuning into the show. Thanks for jumping in the chat. He called me actually while we were talking, and I was like, I gotta call J Boogie later. I guess he realized, oh snap, he's on the show. So let me jump in the chat. So shout out to J Boogie. Let's switch it up real quick. Oh, wait. That's the John Carlos Stanton. Let me remove this. Give me 1 second. And let me add some of these mock trades and let's get right into it. But before we get into any of the mock trades that I was able to pull out, I wanted to ask you, Tats, and I'll throw it over to TC also. Are there any players that you are eyeing right now that you want the Yankees to go out that maybe aren't on this list that I was able to find from Bleacher Report? Who you thinking, Uncle Tats? And throw it over to TC.
I don't know specifically what your list is, but if I had to bring in one offensive player, I go for Porto. I think we should have gotten him last year. And I call Chicago. I get for either Giolito or Cease. I want one of those two guys in the rotation.
Okay. Okie dokie. Give me 1 second just to pull this up because I think you're going to like where the conversation starts because you talk about the Chicago White Sox. TC, I want to ask you, any players on your radar that you want the Yankees to go after?
Yeah, one guy, Luis Ariz. Give me that guy in the lineup.
Oh God, I wish we could get him.
We give him the whole AAA team for him.
Yeah, just so you guys know, over his last 10 games, he is batting over 500.
Yeah,
over 500 over his last 10 games. That
offense.
Guy is a machine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and last night I did a deep dive into like his training videos. What he does when it comes to training for baseball, his hitting drills. Oh my God. I recommend everybody to go look up Luis Ariz and his hitting drills and what he does to be as good as he is right now. Yeah. But let's start off with the first one, Uncle Tats, because you bring up the Chicago White Sox. So let's start this up. This was a mock trade that Bleacher Report did for the New York Yankees. 2 players that they should go after: Tim Anderson and Lucas Giolito from the Chicago White Sox. The thoughts on this would be Anderson could play third or second. We get off of Donaldson. We're able to trade Gleyber Torres to add another pitching arm to our rotation or a bullpen arm, and then we could call up Peraza to be at second base to have an infill of Peraza at second, Volpe at short with Tim Anderson at third. What's your thoughts on this, Uncle Tats, and would you do it?
I would. I think that, you know, this is a trade that's doable. I don't think it would be a stretch. You know, and you're fixing multiple problems. Now, you'll have Giolito. We still don't know what, you know, we had talked to, I think it was the last time that I was on with you guys, we were talking, you know, just let, you know, Severino, just let him throw his arm off and move on. You know, so I that's why I'm also leaning more towards a starting pitcher than a reliever, because I want that insurance in case that we do not end up re-signing or Severino opts not to even give us a chance. At least we still have that rotation option. That's a solid, you know, 3 guy or 2, you know, in that rotation. We need that middle guy. So I like Giolito for that. And Tim Anderson, his athleticism, I think would really play well at Yankee Stadium.
And Steve in the chat, I appreciate you, Steve, like always. That's my YouTube father right there. But Steve, when it comes to adding Tim Anderson, we're not trading for Tim Anderson or hypothetically trading for Tim Anderson to be our shortstop. We're trading for Tim Anderson for his versatility to play third base and second base as well. TC, what's your thoughts on this, bro, before we continue?
Yeah, I'm leaning toward no, but I mean, it depends on who it's for. I mean, Giolito's a good pitcher, but I'm not too high on Tim Anderson at this point. I don't think that we really need Tim Anderson on this team. And then, you know, him and JD on the same team. That's not a good chemistry there. But yeah, again, it depends if we're giving up like a Dominguez or a Spencer Jones or a Peraza. There's no way I'm doing this. If it's maybe for, you know, some late, you know, prospects down the line, like maybe a 15th prospect or something like that, maybe. But yeah, I would love Giolito in this rotation. That I would put Severino in the pen. I would put him as either the closer or you know, the setup guy, because his stuff is is great for late innings. So yeah, I guess it just depends on who we have to give up.
For me, I pass on this trade, not because of Lucas Giolito, because Lucas Giolito has been phenomenal, but I pass on this trade because I don't think Tim Anderson in 2023 in this stage of his career is what we need, right? We need something with a bigger pop or stronger pop than Tim Anderson.
Yeah.
Look at the numbers, right?
The
If this was 2 or 3 years ago when Tim Anderson was battling for the batting title, then yeah, we can have a conversation. But in 2023, when he hasn't even hit a home run, he has 221 plate appearances and he has 0 home runs. He's batting 249. He has a 290 on base percentage. He has a 292 slugging. And on top of that, his defense has fallen off of the cliff. Tim Anderson was never known for being a defensive shortstop already. So to have his defense take that much of a dive with his offense, I'll pass on this one. Because the prospects you're going to have to give up for Giolito, who's under team control, and for Tim Anderson, I'm good. I'll definitely pass on this one. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Are you making this move, or are you passing and trying to get the next move? I've seen a few people already said no, they'll pass on Tim Anderson. My guy Ruben said Arenado would be easy to get because Gorman is playing out of position. The Cardinals will be more inclined to move move over to third base. We have pitching in the minors and they need some. Arenado, we could entertain the conversation, but he has a big contract that's attached to him. He's making, and then that money also, it starts declining as the contract comes to an end, but he's still making big money over the next couple of years. I don't see the Yankees adding that type of contract to the payroll for this team.
We have a lot coming off the books though next year.
We do have a lot coming off of the books, but let's switch it up. Let's go to the next one and let you guys know all of these mock trades, these are all from Bleacher Report. So if you want to kill somebody, kill the people at Bleacher Report and not me.
Not Hector,
not me or Uncle Tats or TC Stills. But I want to throw out the next one right there. It's Shane Bieber and Ahmad Rosario from the Cleveland Guardians. On the season, Bieber has pitched 15 games. He has thrown 95 innings. He has allowed 91 hits. He has given up 11 home runs, but he's pitching to an ERA of 3.51. This is not the same Shane Bieber from old. His stuff has diminished this season, but I'm going to start off with you, Uncle Tats. Any of these two catch your eyes that you want to trade for?
No, not really. Like, it just doesn't, those two guys, they don't excite me. I don't think that if Rosario was more of an everyday outfielder as opposed, then maybe, you make that. I would pass on that one. It doesn't move the needle for me at all.
Especially he has a 255 batting average, a 300 on base percentage, a 339 slugging, which gives him a 639 OPS. I'll pass on it. He only has 1 home runs, 8 stolen bases. Like I said, Shane Bieber hasn't been the Shane Bieber of old, so this is one of those that I'll pass on. When it comes to Rosario, the only thing that catches my eye when it comes to Rosario is the fact that you could play him in different positions. You could play him at either shortstop, third base, second, or any of the outfield spots. So it's more of his versatility more than anything. What's your thoughts, TC?
Yeah, I'm a definite pass on this. We have a guy in the minors, Peraza, that would just come up and be a Rosario. So there's no need for Rosario and Bieber. Yeah, like you said, he's not the same Shane Bieber. Our pitching is not really the problem. We got Rodon coming back, and that's like a huge trade deadline get. That's a huge boost to the starting pitching. So I'm passing on this.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely passing on that. Let me know in the chat down below. Are you guys thumbs up or thumbs down? Are you making that move for any one of them, or are you passing on the both of them? And now this is where I think we could start coming to agreements, because the first two trades, people were like, hell no, we ain't making those trades. But I think over the next few trades, I think we could start coming to some common ground. And I think if we call up the Chicago Cubs and try to trade for Cody Bellinger and Drew Smyly, who's a starting pitcher you could throw into that rotation, I think this is a trade that most Yankee fans would say yes to. When you look at it, Bellinger He is a left-handed hitter. He plays all three outfield spots. You could plug him at first base if you have to. His stats on the season, he is batting .252. He has 7 home runs, 10 stolen bases. He has a .319 on base percentage and a .454 slugging. So that equals to close to 800 when it comes to his OPS. I'm going to start off with you, TC. Are you making this move?
I don't know. This one I'm on the fence about because I do like Bellinger. I know he's he's a strikeout guy too, but I think his strikeouts are down this year. He can play multiple positions, all the outfield positions and first base. Left-handed hitter, power for Yankee Stadium. I do like that, and put him right there in between Judge and Stanton is that's pretty good. Again, it depends on what we're giving up too. So, and Drew Smiley, he's not too bad. He's having a good season.
Yeah, we're not
so,
trading for Drew Smiley to be the ace of this rotation or be the number 2 starter. No, we're trading for him to be like 3 or 4, maybe even 5.
But if they want maybe like a Trey Sweeney or a Pereira or someone not one of the top 5 prospects, I might make this deal.
Okay, all right, Uncle Tats.
Yeah, if I'm making that move, Drew Smiley is not why I'm making it. Like you said, the pitching is not our problem. Our problem is really our offense once we get into October.
Mm-hmm.
But Bellinger also brings you the outfield defense that we've been desperate for. So, for the defensive point, it would make sense to go get Cody. But it's also, I think I'm in agreement with TC. If they made this move, I would not be pissed. If they passed on it, it wouldn't bother me either. It's very 50-50 for me.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Tats. I'm not jumping out of my window to make this move, but if this team were to make this move, I wouldn't be upset. But if they were to pass on it, I'll understand because obviously probably prospects, money, whatever it is. So I will understand the Yankees passing on this move. And I agree, our pitching hasn't been the problem. We need offense, and we need offense bad. So that's why I think these next 2 trades, more the next one I'm going to bring up more than anything else, this is the trade that I think the Yankees should go after. Let me know what you guys think down below. Let me know in the chat. Tats, TC, I'll throw it to you as well. But I think the New York Yankees need to call up the Washington Nationals, and they need to make this trade. Trading for third baseman Jeimer Candelario, who is a third baseman and is a switch hitter, and trading for a left fielder by the name of Lane Thomas, who is basically going to be the all-star for the Washington Nationals this season. Lane Thomas in 2023, he is batting .293. He has 12 home runs. He has 7 stolen bases. He has an on-base percentage of .341 and a slugging of .498. Candelario, he is batting .253, 8 home runs, 2 stolen bases. He has a .331 on-base percentage, of .442 slugging, and he's a switch hitter. You add these 2 guys to our lineup at third base and at left field. Jeimer Candelario, he has some control when it comes to team controllability over the next couple of seasons. Same thing with Lane Thomas. This is a move that I think the front office needs to make. Is this move going to take us over the hump? No. But is this move going to give us the pieces we need to muddy the water until Aaron Judge comes back? Absolutely. You add these 2 guys, Lane Thomas to left field, you're automatically upgrading our left field situation. Yes. You add Candelario to third base, you're automatically upgrading our third base situation. This is a move that I will make, and I will want the Yankees to make this move. TC, I'll start it off with you and throw it over to Uncle Tats.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. Again, it all depends on what the Nationals want. If they want some, if they want Spencer Jones, Dominguez, and Peraza, Will Warren, no, I ain't doing that. For these, these guys, I mean, coming to New York is tough, and we've seen guys come in here and they're doing great, and on other teams they come here and fall on their face. So, and we'd also have to either DFA Donaldson or he'd be on the bench. So there's a lot of different moves they'd have to.
You're crying over DFA and Donaldson?
I'm not crying, but will the front office do it? They love this guy.
Yeah.
They love Donaldson. So I don't know if they even want to do something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, these two guys, under the radar type guys. I mean, yeah, depending on the what the
Like
Nationals want back. I think I would
like
be
Jason
interested in this
said,
one.
I will give up Pereira, I will give up Trey
Yep,
Sweeney,
I
and I
would.
would give up Yorandis Gomez or Richard Fitz. Any of those
Hmm.
three prospects, I would give up to make this trade happen. I see
Sure.
somebody ask, is Thomas a lefty batter? He is a right-handed batter, but he is a left fielder and has been playing left field ever since he has come up to the big league. So solid defense in left field and solid offense also. Uncle Tats, what's your thoughts?
This one actually has me curious to see how this would click. I think Candelario. I think he'd be a good fit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, bringing. I don't know if I would trade any prospects for a rookie. Yeah, because I don't. With Lane Thomas, right?
No, Lane Thomas is not a he's not a rookie. Yeah,
No.
he's not a rookie. No, he's not a rookie.
Yeah, it's. I wouldn't. I don't know. This one's actually. I'm curious to see what the package would. It would have to be. It really would depend on what they want in return.
Mm-hmm.
This one has me interested. I don't know if I would
out
say
of
yes or no
the other mock trades. Sorry to cut
this
you
one
off.
is the
I was just about to say that out of all of the other mock trades, this is the one that, one, it makes the most sense. Two, the most realistic. And when you look at both of these guys' numbers, you're not upset that your team goes together.
Yeah.
If you get Candelario on this team, he automatically has the third highest batting average. Batting 253, he automatically has the third highest batting average. Lane Thomas joins this team, he is automatically leading this team in batting average.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
sure.
Just think of it from that perspective, right? Candelario, you add him to our team. He has the second highest batting average right now. If Judge was here, it would be the third highest batting average behind Judge and Rizzo. You add Lane Thomas to this team, he is leading our team in batting average. That's how bad our offense has been this year. So if we were to add these two, I'm not opposed to it. It just will come down to, can they make it happen in New York? It's easy to click when you're in Washington on a last place team. Can you click the same way in New York? That's the only thing that we would have to try to figure out.
As long as they're eating chicken parm with Austin Wells, I think
that's it.
Good.
That's it. That's all you need. That's all you need. Hey, how about this? When we trade for them, the Yankees include a fresh direct deal of chicken parm, so they could both have chicken parm with every meal. How you doing? My guy Pete is in the building. Salute, 3 capital S's. Pete, how you doing?
Hope you're doing better, Pete.
Hope you're doing better, Pete. Wish you a speedy recovery. You're feeling under the weather. But also, guys, we got 40 people in the building. Petey himself, the mustache poppy, is in the building. So smack that like button for the mustache papito. Let's jump to the next trade. Pete, let me know what you think about this. Pete, give me a thumbs up, a thumbs down. Are you trading for Jamie Candelario and Lane Thomas? Candelario, who's a third baseman and a switch hitter, and Lane Thomas, who you could plug in left field. When you think about the prospect package, you don't have to give up any of your top 3 prospects. You don't have to give up Austin Wells. You don't have to give up Dominguez. You don't have to give up Spencer Jones. You could get away with a Everson Pereira, a Trey Sweeney, and a Richard Fitz in order to make this move happen. Listen, I'm already sold. I know Tats. I'm twisting your arm. You're kind of sold. TC is on the same. He's on the fence with me as well. But let's switch it up because we got one more that we want to talk about before we switch up the conversation. And the next one, it's kind of like the last trade with the Nationals, but it's a lesser version of it, right? This is with the St. Louis Cardinals, basically for a third baseman and for a left fielder. But these players are actually worse than the guys from the Nationals. When you look at Paul DeJong and Alec Burleson, DeJong he's only hitting 231 on the season. He has 11 home runs, 3 stolen bases, a 300 on-base percentage, and a 457 slugging, which equals out to a 757 OPS. Burleson is hitting a little bit worse. He has 5 home runs, but he has a 219 batting average, a 270 on-base percentage, and a 377 sluggage, which equals to about a 747 OPS. I'm gonna start off with you, Uncle Tats. Are you passing on these players?
Yeah, this is another one. That it doesn't really get my blood going at all. Yeah, so far I would say of the ones that we've looked at. I mean, the Washington one is the one that really had my wheels turning. This one really, I'd pass on this.
TC, what about you, brother?
Yeah, this is a hard pass on this one. We
Like
got
Viking
Florial.
said, this is the worst one.
Yeah, Florial and Peraza move the needle more than these two guys.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even mess around with trying to trade some of our prospects for these two guys. That we got a plenty of 200 hitters on our team. We don't need any more. So pass.
And I've seen people on Twitter talking about Burleson, and Ruben brings it up. Burleson could hit. It's just he hasn't had consistent playing time in 2023. I've seen people comparing Burleson to a Luke Voigt, not getting the playing time that he needed in St. Louis. Came to the Yankees, he was able to catch on fire. So that's what people are intrigued when it comes to Burleson. But I'm with you, Uncle Tats. If we're making any of these mock trades, it's definitely the one with the Washington Nationals. Out of all of the mock trades, the National one's one. It makes the most sense, and it's the better trade. It's the better trade out of any of those five trades. And to let you guys know, these mock trades, it came from Bleacher Report. So if you want to beat anybody up, go beat up the guys at Bleacher Report. And Ruben just said it. Burleson's numbers in AAA, he's hitting 331 in AAA. 331 in AAA. So maybe there's something there, like people said on Twitter. Maybe it could be a Luke Voigt situation that the Yankees can get him and get the best version of him instead of St. Louis. I'm not too sure. What's your thoughts on that, TC? And then throw it over to Tats.
Well, Ruben, what's Florial batting in AAA? Let's look at that. Like
he hit his 20. He hit his 20th home run of the season.
Yeah, we got a guy in AAA right now that should
leading
be on
all
the team.
Leading all of AAA when it comes to home runs. All of AAA.
And he plays a good left field or center. Or he's fast. He's got speed. There's no need to make these crazy trades with these guys. For what we have. I mean, if they just opened their eyes and went down there, Cashman, go watch a game. Go. Come on. I'm good.
Tats, what's your thoughts about that, brother?
Yeah, I think to kind of piggyback what TC was saying. If they're trading for a player that's going to take up a spot from Florial or Peraza, I'm passing without even thinking about it. We already have the solutions in the minor leagues with those two guys. If there are other positions that you need to fill and you need to make a move, you want to, we could just easily cut Donaldson, bring up Peraza, let him play third. Let him work with Volpe. And there's enough veterans on this team in the infield with LeMahieu and Rizzo. I think that they'll be fine. So with Florial, we already see what he's been able to. We never got a fair shot of what he could do in the major leagues, but we're watching him just completely go off on a tear, and they're going. They just keep looking the other way. They just, for some reason, I don't know if Florial, talk to somebody, talk to the wrong family member. And they just don't want to talk to him anymore. Believe it, there are a few guys. I remember growing up.
I think what it was, Florio. Yankees found his burner account and everything he said about Brian Cashman on Twitter. Yeah. I think that's what it is. And Ruben brings up a good point. Burleson in AAA last year, he only had 67 strikeouts in 108 games, but he hit 25 doubles and 20 home runs. So when it looks like the stats, he looks like he could hit, but he's just not getting the opportunity with St. Louis. And for me. With the Yankees, he may have great numbers in the minors, Ruben. I just want guys that are major league ready and has proven it already. I'm not trying to take a flyer on a guy that has great numbers in the minors, but he hasn't gotten the playing time in the majors. I want to take a chance on Lane Thomas and Candelario because they've proven that they could do it here at the major league level. I could be wrong because this guy from St. Louis, he could probably turn into an all-star in a few years down the line. But right now, we need someone who's major league ready and has proven it at the major league ready level. You can't deny 67 strikeouts in 108 games. You can't, especially when people already got like 80 strikeouts and we haven't even gotten to 67 games in the majors this year, right? So you can't deny that one.
Yeah, we're a win now. We're not waiting on these, minor league prospect guys. I mean, we gotta get some guys in here right now to just contribute and push us toward the postseason.
And like Ruben is saying, in St. Louis, they have 7 outfielders that are fighting for playing time right now. So it's a lot of pressure on him to actually come through when you're trying to fight for playing time. So for me personally, it's a pass for me. He does seem like he will be a good major league player in the future, but I'm sold on Candelario and Lane Thomas. I am like locked in, ready to go, because that move right there to me, it makes the most sense. It just makes the most sense.
Yeah, that one really has. The more I think about it, the more that one's really starting to grow on me really well. But I think if I'm allowed to make a joke on LI's behalf,
go ahead.
I think Florial needs to fire him as his agent. I think that's why Florial's not getting the call up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like D-Rod said, Burleson is the Florial for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah.
And you can't deny that. And listen, whatever happens with Estevan Florial, right, whether the Yankees give him an opportunity or whether the Yankees allow this kid just to build up his value so they could trade him to another team, wherever he goes, we just wish him the best. We will rather see him get an opportunity with our team. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. So if he gets traded to another team, I just wish him the best, and hopefully he could catch on and just prove Brian Cashman and this front office wrong. That's the only thing that we could do right now, is just root for Estevan Florial to get traded and prove our front office wrong.
Yeah, I just don't want to see him come. I don't want to see him come back and burn us. I'm tired of guys doing that. I mean, the kid does need a shot. He's proven enough. They give.
I just want to point something out. L.I. Yankee King says, why would we trade for Candelario? We have Peraza. The Candelario trade makes no sense logically. Why would we block Peraza? Because Peraza is a shortstop and a second baseman. He is not a corner infielder. That's why we would make the trade, L.I. Yankee King. Peraza is a better shortstop. He's not a better third baseman. You put Peraza at shortstop, Anthony Volpe at second base, and you have Candelario for the next 2 to 3 seasons to be a third baseman and a switch hitter. That's why you make the trade, L.I. Yankee King.
Yeah. Cashman, I don't know. He doesn't think that way. He has alternate methods of madness that that he looks at. So I don't know. But yeah, but Florial, I mean, I wish they would just give him a chance, because they given certain guys a chance, and they neglect him. So I don't know. Yeah, he must have did something wrong, but I mean, look what he does every day. He gets that consistent at bats. Look what he's doing. I just wish they could just. This is the perfect time. We've had all these injuries and plugging in all these guys. Why is now not the good time to do it? This is a perfect time without Aaron Judge. As Judge comes back, these guys won't get a shot. So,
Thank you. I was saying that too. We had the opportunity, when Donaldson was out, we had the opportunity. There was your window to bring up Peraza and let him get significant play time and see what you got. It was early enough in the season. Now with Judge down, here's the perfect opportunity for Florial to get a fair shot. And I don't want to take anything away from Bowers and McKinney. They're holding their own. IKF is actually holding his own. But those aren't the guys that are going to save your season. Those are not names that scream consistency. Florial has been consistent along with Peraza down in the minor leagues, and yet here are these two opportunities to let these guys shine a little bit, and they refuse to let them do it.
Yeah, definitely is. Hold on. Crackle Nuts in the chat. Crackle Nuts said Florial didn't get any naked pictures of Cashman. Hickson Donaldson, I told you guys, he has pictures of Cashman naked. Shout out to my guy Crackle Nuts. Keith Saunders is in the building. My guy Keith, what it do, baby? Keith literally texted me right after the last out from yesterday's game and was like, can you believe it? And I couldn't believe it. I wasn't I don't know how you guys were handling the whole perfect game situation. I was outside of my building having a smoke. I wasn't talking to anyone. I wasn't texting anybody. I wasn't calling anybody. I wasn't talking to my neighbors that were walking past. Normally, when I'm outside, my neighbors pass me. I say hi or whatever because I try to be neighborly. Yesterday, I was ignoring every one of them. I don't want to talk to nobody. My mother called me last night, and I blocked my mother. That's how bad it was. My stress level and my anxiety was through the roof yesterday. But as he was able to come through, you got to give Domingo Herman his credit. Shout out to Domingo Herman.
Yeah, I got home from work last night, and Ed Tats is like, "Oh, how was your night going?" I'm like, "Perfect game." I said, "I gotta watch the game."
Yeah, leave me alone.
Like, how you doing? Yeah, missed you. Hi.
Yeah, it's all pleasantry. Just leave me alone. I gotta watch the game. Just leave me. Don't talk to me right now. But I want to ask you guys, and this will be the last one we throw around, last conversation before we get out of here. With the news that came out over the weekend, when it comes to Aaron Judge, we all know he has a torn ligament in his toe. I want to bring up a name to you guys, and I talked about this yesterday on the pregame report, right? When you talk about Aaron Judge's injury and will he come back this season, we saw him. He was playing catch yesterday. He was doing some baseball-related activities. I honestly think that the Yankees purposely had their film crew capture that moment and put it out there for us fans so we could calm down just a little bit. But I'm going to bring this up. Same type of injury, an outfielder. He was a Gold Glove outfielder with the New York Mets. He played center field. Juan Lagares had the same type of injury, literally identical injury. And it was the same kind of a time frame. He got injured, crashing into the wall, just like Judge did against the Dodgers. This was in Citi Field. He crashed into the wall, hurt his toe. He went for x-rays like Judge went for x-rays. It came back negative, right? It came back that he had a strained tendon in his toe, just like Judge said it was turf toe. A month later, it came out that he had actually a torn tendon in his toe, just like Aaron Judge. Juan Lagares, after that injury, Juan Lagares was never able to play a full major league season after that injury. Now, I understand Juan Lagares and Aaron Judge, two different human beings, two different type of players, two different talent levels as well. But I'm going to start off with you, Uncle Tats. With that thrown into the mix, are you concerned with Aaron Judge coming back this year, or are you concerned for his long-term health over his contract? What's your thoughts, TC? I mean, Tats, sorry about that.
No, I was feeling pretty good about him being able to throw the ball around yesterday, but now you got me fucking panicked.
Sorry, Tats, sorry.
That's it. Season's over.
Yeah,
I think it's a great comparison. Because the parallel is right there in front of your face.
Mm-hmm.
It's Judges. I think he's on that other level where they didn't try, even though he did finish out that game. It's not like they waited like with his rib. It was pretty much that next day he was out of the, and we all knew. We all saw. All right, they're gonna give him the day. They didn't try to push it and just say, all right, just try to play through it. So I think that he was able to have a catch is something to be excited about. I think part of it was staged. Like you said, I'm glad that you said it because I'm like, I'm going to be that one nut that's like, it's a conspiracy. But
I hid my tinfoil hat this morning.
I'll be more excited when I see him start to run. What made me realize that he's taking his recovery seriously. If you watched after that last down, everybody rushed. He walked over.
Right.
He didn't go running with everybody. So he understands the severity of him not being healthy, and he's not going to do anything to jeopardize his progress. So that made me feel a lot. That really helped me relax. That he didn't go running out with everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was walking very nimbly. TC, what's your thoughts on it? Right. And I'm sorry for just sprinkling on that bad news right there. But I just had to bring it up. I just had to bring it up. So sorry.
You just ruined the perfect game. Now they're all
but like Sean Browning said, two different pedigrees. No offense to Juan Lagares. That's why I said two different human beings, two different levels when it comes to talent, and everybody's like, I can get an injury that I recover differently than you, TC, and then you, Tats, as well. But TC, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah,
On
no,
what I
like
brought up.
you nailed it. I mean, two different people, and he might heal a different way. In modern technology, we got advances in medicine,
Yeah, in
and they might,
2023, modern technology is totally
yeah,
different than it was in 2016.
they
Even
have
though
different,
it's very close to the years, advancement is crazy.
yeah, they have different ways to treat this, and just seeing him walking on the toe is a good sign because instead of being in a boot or not even being able to walk, because
Yeah.
if it's basically a torn ligament, that's like a broken toe, and he wouldn't be able to walk.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's a good sign. As far as when he's coming back, if it's August, I mean that's fine. But if he's not 100%, and it's really bothering him. Uh, Honestly, I'd rather him get surgery or something and call it a year because we need
Yeah.
him for the the long haul. We don't, especially if we're like up and down in the standings and we're not really hanging with the wild card. But if we're in the thick of things and August comes around and we're right, actually we're making a run at Tampa. I mean, yeah, I want to see him right there. I mean, give me 80% of Aaron Judge, and yeah, I'll take it.
Mm-hmm. And I want to bring up my guy Blue Go in the chat. He brought it up earlier, but Penny Hardaway had the same type of injury. And that injury, he had to compensate, and that injury led to his knees giving out on him, right? So if you're compensating, if you don't fully heal that toe, your body starts compensating, and you could get injured in other places. One thing that people got to understand when it comes to walking is not a natural thing that our body does. What walking is technically is, it's just falling with just balance. That's all walking is. If you think about it, walking is literally just falling, but just catching yourself before you hit your face with your legs, right? That's all what walking is, right? So if you start compensating with one injury, you're gonna hurt yourself in someplace else.
You're right.
That's why when starting pitchers, when they get a little filling in their shoulder, they try to start compensating so they don't hurt their shoulder. Their leg starts to give out. Their hip starts to give out, their back starts to give out because you're compensating and you're forcing other parts of your body to pick up the slack because you ain't want to put that much pressure on your elbow, right? So if you don't want to throw it with all the force, you're gonna try to get that extra velocity from your hips. Then your hips go on you, right?
Yep.
It's everything compacts and works with each other, right? Let's bring up one more before we get out of here. Later on, the Yankees and the Oakland Athletics. It's the rubber game of this series. Early game as well. TC, I want to throw it over to you, then Uncle Tats. What's your expectations for today? And I want to just check the pitching for the Yankees. Clark Smith is pitching for the Yankees. And we got to give credit to both Domingo Germán and Clark Smith. Even though Domingo Germán last couple of starts were clunkers, Domingo Germán and Clark Smith, they had stepped up tremendously in the absence of Carlos Rodon, Nestor Cortez, and Luis Severino. TC, I want to start with you. What's your thoughts on today's game? It's a 3:37 start. How do you think the Yankees will handle it?
I sure hope they come out, firing on all cylinders. I just don't want to let down from that last night game. I mean, they gotta ride the momentum of the offense. Please watch that fourth inning when they actually scored runs and bunted and without a home run. Can we play that style of baseball today as well? Not just wait around for a home run. I'm not worried about the pitching. The bullpen is completely rested. We have everybody ready to go.
Yeah,
so
with
Schmidt,
Ian Hamilton ready to go.
We got Ian Hamilton as well. So I'm not worried about that. Schmidt he's probably good for 5 or 6 innings, 2 or less runs. The A's are horrible. They can't hit. They've scored 2 runs in 2 games, and they're trash. So I see a Yankees.
Tell me how you really feel, TC. Honestly, tell me how you really feel about me, okay?
I mean, sorry, it's bad for baseball. I'm just tired of seeing teams like this.
You're right, bro. You're right, bro.
Yeah, and seeing 5,000 fans and 4,500 were Yankee fans. That's horrible. Come on, there's more guys celebrating the perfect game than any A's guys. I didn't even see any A's fans.
I was literally listening to Sal Licata last night, and he brought that up. He was like, there was 5,000 people in the building. 4,500 of them were Yankee fans.
Yeah, I mean they were booing Josh Donaldson. I mean that was. I was like, where are we?
Yeah, on the strikers, last strikeout, they booed him.
I know the A's fans
Oh,
aren't
man.
booing him. They're probably cheering him.
I'm crying.
yeah.
Shit got me
But
crying right now.
you heard the boo so clearly, you forgot
I
what stadium
know.
you were playing in.
I heard everybody clearly. I could, go ahead, Tats. What do you think?
Yeah, go ahead, Tats.
Yeah, I think if we can get through 5 with Schmidt, I don't push it because I know his innings are getting up there, and we also have now a rested bullpen.
Mhm.
So I'm hoping that the first arm they bring in is Ian. I want to see him back. I want to see him back on the mound.
Yeah.
I want to see him in the middle of the game where it's really not a pressure situation, and just let him get his rhythm back into being in game activity.
If I can, just want to give a quick shout out real quick, Tats. I throw back Ritu. We got Grips in the building. First time seeing Grips in the chat. Grips, if this is your first time in the chat, shout out to you. Even though you're a Blue Jay fan, just know this. You still have a home over here. Because we may be diehard Yankee fans, but just know this. We enjoy having conversation with baseball fanatics. That is all we love to do. He says, afternoon, all Grips. Like I said, let me know if this is the first time in the chat. And if you guys can, welcome Grips to the Brew Crew community. Welcome him to the familiar. Go ahead, Tats.
Yeah, I want to see the momentum with Volpe. I want to see, give us 3 multi-hit games in a row. Give us some speed on the bases.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see some of that small ball like TC was talking about. I want to see the manufactured runs. That's what's going to tell me that they're clicking and they're playing with and for each other.
Mm-hmm.
They're not just waiting for the home run. Don't worry, if you get on base, I'll get you around some way or another.
Yep.
I want to see that type of baseball being played.
Yeah, no, 100%. And Robbie, who would have thunk it? Domingo Germán with the perfect game. And I actually do remember it was an open panel. It was about like 2 weeks ago that Manny was on when he was working, and he did call it. He said Domingo Germán is going to pitch a perfect game this season, even though it was all in the jokes of things. Listen, look what happened. Domingo Germán pitched the perfect game. You never know. That's why baseball is such a crazy sport. You can't predict this shit whatsoever.
Yeah,
Blue Ghost said Hector
once before, right?
He said, Hector, you and Jig are doing your other show today. I'm not too sure, just because the Yankee game is at 3:37. I'm not sure if we're going to go live in the middle of a Yankee game. Pete does the watch-alongs. I don't like stepping on other people's toes when they're going live. Like when Tats goes live, I'll make sure that I'm not live. When Jason goes live, I make sure that I'm not live. When Peter's live, I just don't like to step on other people's toes. And I think that us as a community, I think we've come to that understanding. It hasn't been said, but we all come to that understanding.
It's that unspoken respect we all have for each other's channels. Yeah,
exactly. TC, any last thoughts before we get out of here, brother?
No, I was just trying to figure out. I think, was it earlier this year? Was it last year where Germán was really close to a no hitter?
It was this year. It was this year. It was this year against Tampa. Yeah, it was this year against Tampa.
I think somebody mentioned that in the chat.
Right.
No, he was pitching a perfect game, and they took him out of the game, and the bullpen gave it up. That's what happened, and we eventually lost that game because of the bullpen, and that's when people were coming after Aaron Boone, because he took. I think he was in the. If I'm not mistaken, he was in the 8th inning with like 80-something pitches.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, or he gave up the hit in that 8th inning. Boone took him out, and the bullpen gave up the game.
Gave up one hit.
That's
and
what.
Then
that's what it was.
And they lost the game. Yeah.
No, he's flirted with a few of them this year.
Yeah.
Listen, when his stuff is gone,
somebody said that he was pitching a no-hitter when he got bumped for the sticky stuff.
It's the consistency. That's the thing with him.
When he is on, he is nasty. When he has his ace stuff, he is filthy. We saw it when he won 18 games a few seasons ago, right? So we see the potential of Domingo Germán. It's all about him putting it together. And I'm not gonna lie, you tell me at the beginning of the season that we would not have Carlos Rodon pitch until July. Luis Severino having his struggles, Nestor Cortez having his struggles, right? If you would have told me that our starting rotation would consist of Garrett Cole, Domingo Germán, and Clark Smith as our 3 guys carrying us until June 29th, I would have called you crazy. But just think about that, Yankee fans.
How many games out are we? 20 games out?
Exactly. we're in last place with
Yes.
all the struggles that we have had this season, with the injury to Aaron Judge, with the inconsistency of this lineup, right? Just think about how important our starting rotation has been and how important our bullpen has been, right? If our lineup, right, if our guys like Donaldson, like Stanton, like LeMahieu, like Torres, like Rizzo, if they would be performing to the levels that we know they can be performing to, we'll be right there with Tampa and Baltimore, right? If we had our guys performing to the levels that we know they can perform, we'll be knocking on the door. Even with all of that said, we still have the 4th best record in the American League. We have the 8th best record in all of Major League Baseball. We got Carlos Rodon coming back in a week, right? He's going to make one more start before coming back and joining the team in the Bronx in our next homestand. We got Carlos Rodon coming. We got the trade deadline around the corner where you may not be in love with Brian Cashman, right, and his decision making that he has done over the years, but you know Brian Cashman is going to make a move at that trade deadline. Yeah. You definitely know he's going to make a move at that trade. Yeah. It's how big of a trade will happen at the trade deadline. That's what we have to sit back and try to speculate on. Yeah, but Tats, any last words before we get out of here?
I think that Domingo is one of those. I want to close it with Domingo. I want to just remind you, don't worry about tonight's game until first pitch. Let's just enjoy the conversation about what we got to witness yesterday and worry about tonight's game tonight. So just enjoy the day and just revel at the fact that we got to see another incredible Yankee moment.
Fact. We were able to enjoy this great. We had 62 home runs last year from Aaron Judge. We had a perfect game this year from Domingo Germán. And the last time the Yankees have pitched perfect games, that team went on to win the World Series that season. Look at David Cohn's perfect game. Look at David Wells' perfect game. Don Lawson's perfect game. Now look at Domingo Germán's perfect game. Let's see what happens in the postseason, and let this be the motivation that this team need to switch things up and turn things around. But guys, appreciate everybody for tuning in. Uncle Tats, like always, you already know.
Thank you, Uncle Tats.
It's an open door policy, Uncle Tats. Anytime you want to join. I know you had your show this morning before joining, so I appreciate you taking time and joining us. But Tats, for the people that don't know about the Pinstripe Chronicle, let the people in the chat know about you guys and where they can find you specifically and what times you goes live.
Yeah, you can find us on Pinstripe Chronicles podcast on YouTube. We go live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 a.m. We always make sure, don't worry about missing his, Hector shows. We will always make sure that we are done by 11 o'clock, like we were talking about. But we usually go on for about an hour. On Sundays, we have our female panel. On Sundays at 11 a.m., the girls, Chris and Lynn, they do a phenomenal
amazing job. Yes, they do.
With it, and you can always find us on YouTube, on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere you can find us.
Don't forget your show with Mikey Mazza.
And then also good call. We also me and Mike Mazza from the Fort Trade Express. We do this kind of merger show. It's called the Pinstripe Express. Actually, we will be doing our live show on the Pinstripe Chronicle show on Saturday. Where we will be having our guest Chris Vitale from Ball9.com. He's going to be coming on to talk some baseball with us and what's going on with his website. So there's a lot going on for us.
Awesome, Tats. Listen, Tats. I appreciate you like always. Like TC said, this is a great community that we are all in. I knock on wood every day, and I'm saying that I'm glad that I'm in this community, in this space with you guys, because talking baseball, it gets boring just screaming at the mirror or just screaming at your TV. Having a place to come and have conversations with Sean Browning, with Acevedo, with Sunil, with Robbie, with Jonathan, with Jerry, with KC Funtime, Anthony Medina, Don Sicario, Keith Saunders. We appreciate all of you guys, right? Yes, it's myself, it's TC, it's Tats. We're on here talking, but a big part of our conversation and the way that we're able to do things, it's having you guys being so interactive in the chat. If we didn't have you 30 to 40 people, 50 people in the chat going back and forth with us, it wouldn't be as entertaining that it is. So appreciate you guys in the chat, like always, the mod squad. Appreciate everybody. If you guys
September
can't smack
23rd,
that like
don't
button,
forget,
and
September
please
23rd.
remember, like my guy TC said, remember September 23rd, The tickets are live both for the Audi Suite and for the after party. Sucker Punch Bar, it's going to be a movie. You're not going to want to miss the after party. And like always, peace out. And we're going to end it with the promo video. Peace out, familiars. We out of here.
Tú quieres más, echa pa' acá, te quiero ver bailar. Se puede ver que no temas nada. Si tú te estiras, yo me tiro, 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 tiro. Si tú te estiras, yo me tiro, 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 tiro. Si tú te estiras, yo me tiro, 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 tiro. Si tú te estiras, yo me tiro, 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 tiro. Si tú te tiras, me tiro. Envidian por su estilo. Todo estaba tranquilo, pero llegaste sola al partido. Y baby, no me voy de aquí sin ti. Todo lo que estás sintiendo lo quiero sentir. Tu enojo, tu coraje, como llegaste aquí. Cantando que la ni, baby, dámela a mí. Por la T-Dress, no ven por la T-Dress. Hop in the phantom, what's the dress? Si quieres, pues nos vamos donde quieras, bebé. Me gusta como habla, tiene un lindo base en brasilera. Ven y navega, una atrevida, pero sincera. Que no te ponga a hablar porque ella no te deja.